morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. Topic, of course, is the posting setups and the posting groups and how they work. Let me share my screen. Okay, cool. The posting setups. Simply introduce myself. For those I haven't spoken to, I'm Teresa. I'll be this presenter today. Marco Belscher will be my moderator, helping me in the background. Okay. All right. We'll be discussing the different posting groups, the specific ones and the general ones. The specific groups being the customer posting group, vendor posting group, bank and fixed asset posting groups, and then separately the inventory posting groups because they work a little differently. Then we're going to depth on the general posting groups, the business and the product posting groups. Okay, so the posting groups are used to link the different application areas to the GL accounts in your general ledger application area. So when you post a sale or a purchase transaction, the system needs to know which GL accounts it needs to post to in your chart of accounts. Okay, so if you're not posting directly to a GL account in your sale or purchase transaction, it needs to know where to post to. Okay, so we have our specific posting groups. For instance, the customer posting groups and the vendor posting groups, fixed asset, bank, and inventory posting groups. Okay, the specific posting groups are used to identify the balance sheet accounts to which the subledgers will be posting. Okay, and the total, for instance, the total outstanding account receivable balance on your customers in the subledger should correspond to the total balance of the accounts receivable account on your balance sheet. Okay, so for that reason, on your chart of accounts, if we go and search for the receivables account, okay. For this reason, we normally switch the direct posting off so that you can't post directly to it in a journal, but only through the subledger via transactions. Okay. All right, I'm just going to quickly run through all the different specific posting groups. So on your customer posting groups, okay, these map the accounts receivable accounts, the payment discount accounts, the invoice and application rounding accounts, and the interest and additional fees to the related customers. So you set up these groups and you map them to GL accounts, and then you assign these groups to customers. In the same way, you have the vendor posting groups. More or less the same, but the vendor posting groups maps accounts to the payables accounts, the payment discount accounts, invoice and application rounding accounts, and the interest and additional fee accounts. And then you link it to a vendor. Okay, the inventory posting groups work a little differently. You set up the inventory posting groups first. I want to show you the groups first. Okay. So on the separate screen, you just set up the groups, and then you assign those groups to GL accounts, but in a combination of location and inventory posting groups. So the inventory posting groups get assigned to items or resources, and then the combination of the location code involved in the transaction depicts which GL accounts will be affected in your chart of accounts. Okay. Same way, you also have your bank posting groups. So when you post a transaction through to the bank, it knows which GL account to post to, and these posting groups get assigned to a bank account, and so forth. Okay, right. To set up a new specific posting group, we'll set up a new customer posting group. And it is as simple as setting up a new posting group like this. Okay, you just call it UK or whatever. And then either F8 all the way, setting it up manually. And if you wanted to post to different accounts, you can just change the applicable accounts accordingly. Okay, and the same way you set up the vendor posting groups, the bank, and all the other specific posting groups. Okay. All right, on the inventory posting groups, let's just go to the inventory posting setup. Okay, so these are used to group items and to map the transactions to inventory accounts, WIP accounts, and other accounts that relate to inventory. Also reports such as the inventory valuation, they use the inventory posting groups to group the results of the report. And you can use the posting groups as filters on any query or report that you run. Okay, the inventory posting setup is slightly different from the customer, vendor, and other specific posting groups in that it has the 2 pages. We separately set up the groups and then set it up, linking it to a location. Okay. Yeah, the GL accounts are then set up assigned to a group instead of individual items, and then you assign the group to the items. Okay. And in the same way, to create a new posting setup, you can just select the location, select the posting group. And there's just where we filtered for that one. You can create a new inventory posting group. We can call it whatever. Material. And we can select the inventory account for raw materials. Okay, and there's your new inventory posting group. Cool. All right, the general posting groups. So the main purpose of the general posting groups is to identify the income statement, where the specific posting groups refer to the balance sheet accounts. The general posting groups identify the income statement accounts for the sub-ledgers. Okay, they are used to link the general ledger to the sub-ledgers, like the item transactions from purchases and sales documents, the item journals, machine centers, work centers, and item charges. Okay, we'll start off with the general business posting groups. Okay, so typically the business posting groups, they specify who is being sold to their customers and who is being purchased from on your vendor side. And then these groups are assigned to the customers, vendors, and GL accounts in some cases. Okay, whereas the general product posting groups, they in turn specify what is being sold, items or resources in this case, and what is being purchased, items typically. Okay, now these groups are assigned to the items, the resources, the GL accounts, machine centers, work centers, and item charges. Okay, so always remember the business posting groups are assigned to customers and vendors, and the product posting group, the what is being bought or sold, gets assigned to the items and such. Okay. So now we get to the general posting setup. When you set up the general business posting groups, you always have to consider, sorry, just jumping ahead. Let's go back one step. Okay. When you set up the business posting groups that you're going to assign to your customers and vendors, you always have to consider how you want to analyze your sales or your purchases. Okay, for example, you might want to report on sales by either geographical area or the type of business or industry your customers in. So you set up these groups, always keeping in mind how you, at the end of the day, want to report your sales or purchases. Okay, all customers must be assigned a general business posting group, otherwise you won't be able to post a sale or a purchase transaction without it. And also just a note, GL accounts that are directly posted to during a sale or purchase transaction. Also, that where VAT is involved, you also have to assign a general business posting group to that GL account. Okay, I'll show you now how to assign all of those on the product posting group side. Okay, so when you set up these groups, always consider how many groups are needed to analyze, once again, your sales or purchases for your specific items that you're going to buy or sell, or resources or services. Okay, for example, you could have product posting groups for raw material, finished goods, consumables, resources, capacities, and so forth. Okay. Likewise, also all inventory items and resources must be assigned a general product posting group. Otherwise, you won't be able to post any transactions against those resources or items. Okay. We go to the general posting setup. Okay, this matrix is a combination. It combines the business and the product posting groups. And the combination of these depict which GL accounts will be posted to during a transaction. So here you would specify the sales accounts, the sales and the purchase accounts, the credit, sales credit and purchase credit accounts, if you want to have different accounts for those. The prepayments, the sales and purchase prepayments, the sales and purchase invoice discounts and payment discounts, the cost of goods sold accounts, the direct cost applied and overhead applied, and all the purchase variance accounts. Okay, so you could have different GL accounts depending on who you're selling to and what you're selling, or who you're buying from and what you're buying. Okay, it depends on how you want to report on your sales or purchases and how you want to see it in your chart of accounts. Okay, you have to complete this matrix for every possible combination of general business posting group and product posting group. In addition to this, you also need to complete a line for each general product posting group with a blank business posting group to post transactions like item journals where there's no customer or vendor involved and it's only the inventory involved. Okay. All right. To add a new posting setup or new combination of business and product posting setup, there are three ways of doing this. You can either enter the new one on a blank line, let's say for raw material, and then you can enter the accounts manually, or we delete that line. You can copy it if you want to copy, let's say you want to copy that line down for the domestic raw material, but you only want to change one specific account on that, or a few specific accounts on that line. You can also do that. Just add a new line with a new business and product posting group, and then you can say copy from where. Let's say we want to copy domestic retail. We want to copy all the fields, the sales, everything. We just click on OK. And it copies everything down. That was all the GL accounts that was specified on the retail line, it copies down to the raw material line. Okay. So let's say, okay, we've copied it down. We just want to change one thing, and that is the direct cost applied account. We want to change that to something else. Okay. There's also a third way of entering or changing the matrix, and that is by going to either the business or the product posting groups. Okay. So you can select, for instance, the raw material and just click on setup over there. Then this screen will be filtered for where the product posting group is raw material. And then you can just keep adding to it and it will keep filling in the product group for you. Okay, so those are three ways of manipulating the matrix on the direct posting setup, on the general posting setup. Okay. All right, so I'm going to change a customer, the posting setup for a customer. On the invoicing. Okay. So the posting setup is generally found under the invoicing tab of your accounts, of your master data accounts, the general business posting group, and the general business posting groups are normally assigned a default VAT business posting group, and you can select whether you want it to auto insert. So when you select domestic, it will auto populate the VAT business posting group on the custom with whatever you selected here as the default. Okay, so this is where you would change the posting groups. And the same on the vendor. We open up a vendor. Also on the invoicing tab, the business posting group and the vendor posting group. Remember, this one posts to an account in the income statement. This posts to your accounts payable on your balance sheet. Okay. I just want to check that this vendor is properly set up. Yeah. And then on the items, we open up an item. The general product posting group, let's change this to raw material to use that new setup we've just created. Okay. All right. I'll do a quick demo. Let's do a purchase order for this item, and then we can check the GL accounts that was affected. Okay. Needs approval. Okay. I'm not going to do the approval now, but let's just do a quick purchase order. Okay, let's do a new purchase order. Let's use that little guy. It's my vendor. And then we will be buying this item over here. Let's just select my main warehouse. Let's purchase 25 at 10 Rand each. Okay. So now when we go and post the purchase order, let's go and post the receipt first. We can go and view that receipt that we posted. There's the receipt, and we can go and view the GL entries that was created. If it is set up properly, it should, yeah. Created 2 entries in your GL account, on your chart of accounts. It has created a credit on your inventory adjustment interim account. That's your GRN account. And in your inventory interim account, it's a debit. Okay, so now we're going to post the invoice. Back to the order. We're going to post the invoice now. Let's say yes, we want to open the invoice because the order has now disappeared. GL entries. And the way it knows which accounts to post to is all because it found those accounts in the general posting setup with a combination of the general business posting group that was copied from the vendor that we used and the general product posting group that was copied from the item that we bought. So that combination depicts which GL accounts will be used. It reversed the entries that was created by the receipt out of the interim accounts into your actual inventory accounts. Here's my purchase account, my inventory account. There's the VAT portion, inventory adjustments. Here's my vendor account that was set up in my vendor posting group. Inventory account and my inventory. Okay. On the banking side, just a quick look at the banking side. If we go to my bank accounts, this one's not assigned. Okay, so the bank account is linked to the checking bank posting group. And if we look in the setup, the checking bank account posting group is linked to that GL account in your chart of accounts. So when you post to this specific bank account, it will post to account 2920. Okay. That concludes the postings. Posting groups, the specific posting groups, and the general posting groups. Yeah, we'll go into more depth and detail on the inventory posting setups and the accounts on the setups, as well as on the purchasing and sales side in other sessions that we've got coming up. But yeah, so the aim of today's session was to just give you a quick overview of where you set up the posting groups, what they are used for, how do you assign them, how does the system know which GL accounts to affect when you post a sale or a purchase transaction. That's it from me. So floor is open for any questions you may have. Okay, I've got one question from Ina Marie. How the GL entries from a posted receipt when your PO has not yet been invoiced. Okay, so we can go back to posted receipts. So when you open up a purchase receipt, from here you can view the GL entries. We go process, find entries. You will see there's two GL entries over there. You can drill down either there or there, and it will show you all the accounts that was affected by posting the purchase receipt. I hope that answers your question, Inamari. If you do think of any questions you might have, yeah, feel free to mail us if you have any suggestions on anything else you would like to see. And then also, this video will be on our YouTube channel soon, as well as all our previous videos. Okay, we will send you the links. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day further. Cheers.